The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Cypar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about.
Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, you see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, just as you're about to pull apart.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too
She looks away, mumbling. Why is...
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step up. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. Why? It's not like... I am sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers.
The curtains do seem frail suddenly.
No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to do anything extreme.
Lies. Rip them open, we say. The curtains, tattered with age and cover. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little cage-like trinkets, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
I warned you, you're unleashing forces beyond your understanding.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. What if you just break it down? You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you? What is this place? No, it's a gym, though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game. A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to.
Good technique. It's dark, and the flashlight works a lot better if you hold... Yes, you might even call it a feature of the universe that you need to hold tools to use. I'm sorry, the fundamental laws of the universe don't seem to agree with you, so come on.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins, casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins, with organs shining under their skin, and even ether welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with welkin, green welkin, dread welkin, and the high welkin, to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little walking creatures. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. Just look at those details. So much effort.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much needed respite from our own world. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. So much pain, back pain, neck pain, headaches, carpal tunnel, chest pain. No gym membership can make up for working in this manner. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: "Call in, tune out," "Wirral untethered," and "Heat death of the universe." The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "Outside, a cold wind wraps the building in its bosom. Snowflakes in the wind. An old woman passes what the locals call the doomed commercial area." This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money. Why would anyone just leave it behind? This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible printer.
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Oh no. It was already glowing and now it's also making a sound. It's probably some alien CO-like technology. static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? The filament you have inserted into the reader. That was a question. Have you inserted it into the core? Good. Please repeat the password. Received. I will register this login attempt.
That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do. Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Good. Please repeat the password. No. Still no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the receipt Fortress accident? Fortress accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to. One moment. Fortress accident SCA produced. Any other questions? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
They are merely cautious. I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
On an island on the river Esperance, a small woman, all skin and bones, sits in a room filled with audio equipment. Thousands of tiny lights are reflected back from her prescription lenses, like stars in the dark.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress accident. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still. The speaker.
Good afternoon. Please repeat. Thank.
Tiles on the cube. Nothing happens. The filament slides out of its glowing nest. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. And it looks like they must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important, whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like. A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Il Mara.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing is.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and... No, that's not it.
Like he's ready to lay out.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it. Make it work on radio. Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry. But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just threw call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other coordinating so many.
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... Yes, especially in here. Okay, let's keep moving.
An iron safety curtain curves before. What an odd thing to do. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to.
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things? Thanks. In any case, there's no way we...
Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos. As before. You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost and the bear's eyes are glowing red. This ice bear is a hyper-carnivore. Be careful. The lieutenant doesn't answer. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside. The lieutenant takes a peek inside.
Of course, just a giant ice bear. Let's take a look inside.
The shelves are empty. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Somewhere in the past, it's summer. As she makes her way to the market stall, the girl starts crying. A ferocious ice bear is guarding the fridge, its paws raised to ward off any potential customers. Her mother rushes to soothe her, but Fifette doesn't want ice cream anymore. She just wants to go home. The ice bear stares at them as they leave the plaza.
I know. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic. A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall.
There is, yes. And there also appears...
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs, rummaging around. Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future. Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Maybe it's coming from behind those safety curtains we saw upstairs. We should ask the lady in the bookstore what's going on with these curtains.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. Maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cave painting for future archaeologists. Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men wear coal for make. A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter. Something close to you died.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises. The bear's eyes are dead and
Good question. It looks like a nice...
somewhere in
I know. At least it's...
the fridge.
Good question.
Somewhere in
I know. At least it's...
the fridge. Both cables are on. An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. An off-key melody starts playing.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't... Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were... But the doorbell is...
A single beep indicates that the line. You ring the door. Just seeing the word, all you hear is you ring the doorbell. But nothing happens. You wait for a minute or two. Looks like someone has... You hear static. You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric.
Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
It's you.
It's a woman, and she knows you. She must be mistaking you for someone else.
Michelle, just please.
Sounds like a ghost. Wind blows through your clothes and you feel detached from your surroundings.
Why did you even call? I don't understand. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words.
It's so nice.
She sounds like the cold is deep under your skin, as if you were talking. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is another seagull.
It must have been some kind of faulty wiring. We should maybe stop playing with this door.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. Silence. Silence. Nothing happens. Silence. No. This button.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
No. Hold on.
Yes? What do you want to know? Ah, yes. The case brief you missed. Now, 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute. They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. That's right. I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition. You don't know? I assume better still than an imbecilic cop-off. It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here, and now it's come to its natural conclusion. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
A tremble comes over you. Another after effect of ethanol poisoning, perhaps. Feels like leaves do when they rustle in the breeze, somewhere far away, below the turbine. The 41st and the 57th. The lieutenant was right. It's not about who gets what's north. It's about who doesn't.
No. Oh no, it's very imaginable. We fail to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbor company see the situation is out of control, so they bring in private military, maybe a gunship. The Union responds in strength. Automatic fire. Local law enforcement solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it? Yes. I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. Just think about it for a second.
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. But I also think I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
No response. He just...
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs? Really? You look this psychodrama, then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema. Me? I don't see how my life is... if you insist. What do you want to know? No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. It's like you're locked. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
What? This? Where is this going? Interesting. I think it's called... Okay. I do not have a thing with... Okay, I wanted to become an aerostatic pilot. Then I turned 10 and realized we know absolutely nothing. Good. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it would... You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking... What?
The lieutenant, but you're super lucid.
That's correct.
That makes him a binoclard.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome. Good. Let's change this. Excuse me? Frankly, detective, that's good. Some you might.
A thick layer of coal dust. It's dark, the echo is...
What are you doing? Wait, really? Maybe we should ask the lady in the bookstore what's going on with this...
Every snowflake is like a little gift from the sky. Oh, that's Auntie Billy. She's nice if a bit... No, sir. I think she is a bad husband.
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
The woman before you nods and returns to... The woman before you.
You broke down? The back, I suppose it's all over now. Just a door? This place, I hope you're happy now. Happy that you've ruined everything. Now that you've broken...
Host Almighty, she prays. Guard me and my honest bit.
Of course you didn't. You're nothing but a policeman. All right. You know what? I'm willing to let you investigate the doomed commercial area.
Her facade has dropped.
But before we go on, tell me, did you encounter the malignant entity? You did? Then it has to be true. I've suspected that this woman-shaped energy... Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building.
If you're really interested in cracking this mystery, then we should go back to the furnace.
Okay, but please, only a few questions. The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building. It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Such wraiths may prove a formidable enemy.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against... Oh, this! No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the... Yes, the Simonese are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful.
The woman before... Revacholian nationhood. The Revacholian state will be a serene place. You should get a drink. A beautiful, serene place of mystery and peace. It will not be a place for women to infect with their frailty and hysterics, or where the Simonese will be allowed to wear their pants around their ankles. All of that will go once you get a drink. The socialist professors at the École Supérieure will be fired. The editors of Trompe le Monde will have to beg in the streets. You'll pour beer into their begging hats and laugh. As before, those curtains proved to be so...
There must be...
A thick layer of coal dust covers the... It's dark, the echo is...
What are you doing? Wait, really? Maybe it's coming from behind the safety curtain.
Something breaks loose in you.
Hello? Hello? Did you say anything?
You hear a low rumble.
After you, officer.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Amelius. So what kind of die are you looking for? Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. Then how did you get inside? I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here.
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to, not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people. Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. A star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Are you sure? Yes, you definitely have the proper attitude. How about a pair of 100-sided dice? Made of ivory and inlaid 10 real, and I can get these ready in 8 hours. It's true, magnetic dice are definitely different. When rolled together, the magnetic fields of the pips interact with each other to push and... Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else? Nothing really. I didn't know.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. I might have, But in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out. It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build
Creative.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energy spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me. I've been here.
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the...
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've uncovered her true identity.
So I'm the Grand Dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim? Ethereal? If you ever find a way to explain all those...
Plaisance needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your...
More or less. Are you interested?
Rats scuttle in the dark rooms under the abandoned block.
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you. It's not about the haircut. It's about...
I guess it just wasn't the time yet. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. A kind man, from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor.
You should have known it.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that turns out the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milias. Who would have guessed? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it. It's a Sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
What does she mean?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with them.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder.
Even you can probably do better than that.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest and, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers. Really? Anyway, they were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, Their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending. Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now.
Maybe you could make a sword out of one.
Fortress Accident, the radio games too. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest. Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature of the game.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravachol Ice City lost the price war to its... maybe. He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Scary, but...
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. Oh, I totally understand. Anything else? Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
Right, it used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice? Don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Oh, right. But did this Tricentennial Electrics? It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to...
Pranks can be eerie. Oh, the kids these days. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure. Sure, I'm good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the ship.
Didn't we already? What are you talking about?
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
This doesn't make any sense. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
She starts laughing. Her fingers.
Do you know what this is? It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan. No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just... And now you're telling me what? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories. I'm listening. Good.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes. You hustle. Oh, yeah. Like a horse. Oh, look at yourself. That is the sign of a hustler who never... A little. It ain't easy. But you do... Oh, yeah. You took that bribe. You didn't log that in as a donation. Yeah. You're in... Sure. And has it been easy? Are you rich? Get out of here. You're a pauper. You work harder than any... That's right. 100%. Every time. 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight.
What have you found? A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the... I don't understand.
Before you say... She's squeezing on the pendant too tight.
Oh, how horrid. I knew... Tell me, did you find a way to break the... What does that mean? Are you... All that matters. Thank you, officer. Truly, you...
All right, then. All's well.
The shop around you feels... The note is written with a blue pencil.
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best, but someone has scribbled. S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio. So you'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property like that's a plausible hypothesis. It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of...
It's like the production schedule.
Really? You don't... Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. I don't know.
Didn't you see one right next? Whoa. In your hand, Pyrrolidon, the double rainbow of synthetic hallucinogens, rare and gritty, a product of the age of atomic power. What a funny little cap. Don't let the scary medical warnings throw you off. No problem. This coin operated. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
You're back. Good, on the contrary, officer. There are yet camioneers you have not talked to. I suggest you go back and canvass for more suspects.